To the surprise of absolutely nobody with a functioning brain, report PlayStation brand in decisive decline in Japan. Research firm is deeply concerned. Who could have guessed that censoring Japanese games that are only ever going to be released in Japan down to global standards may have resulted in something like this? Who could have guessed that literally flipping Japan the finger in pretty much every major event, like to the point in not even having a Japanese language track in one of their reveals, may have led to this? Who could have predicted that forcing Japanese developers to swap what buttons do what just to meet global standards, because the way the West does it is different than how Japan does it. So you can't just let Japan do it the way they prefer to do it. No. You have to change. Your game's inputs have to change because of my global standards. Who could have predicted that this in particular might have been the last straw that made Japanese gamers just give up on this dogshit company and platform? Who could have predicted this? Who could have seen this coming? Now, before I move on, I will just say hashtag PC Master Race for the win. We can remap our controls however we want, but let's move on. The Piss Nickel may be in hot demand worldwide, flying off the shelves both physically and digitally, with inventory still difficult to find nearly 2 months after release. I mean, does it really count if it's only scalpers buying them? But a report from a research firm says the company's standing in Japan is withering away. Low launch sales in the region have ACE Economic Research Institute analyst Hideki Yasuda deeply concerned for the future of the PlayStation market in Japan. Dude, I hope it tanks worldwide. Famitsu sales data published on GameIndustry.biz Japan, translated on Retard Era, shows that the Piss Nickel only sold 240,000 units in its first 6 weeks. The worst launch performance of any PlayStation console in the region besides the PSP. And the PSP, though, eventually really grew large there. I mean, it was canceled in the West pretty quickly, but it took a long time for it to be discontinued in Japan, because a lot of people used it on subways and trains and shit. Yasuda says the sales figures show a pattern of disregard for the Japanese market. Quantitative analysis shows that Sony is not taking Japan seriously. No, they're taking Japan seriously. They're taking them seriously enough to censor all of their strengths. I legitimately believe that with whatever Western taint got into Sony, they're being tricked into censoring Japan because the West can't compete, let's face it. What the West produces, with a few exceptions, is fucking garbage compared to Japan. And since the West isn't willing to up their game and actually compete with Japan, they have to censor Japan down to their level, which is what Sony in particular has been the vanguard of, forcing Japanese companies to censor down to Western standards because the Westerners keep getting their asses whooped. So yes, Sony does take Japan seriously, but only when it comes to viewing them as an enemy. Real funny for a company that was originally based there. A sales chart shows comparative numbers of similar sales periods of other consoles, with projections for the Piss Nickel saying its lifetime sales in Japan could end up at less than half of the PS4 if trends continue. Oh, I would laugh so hard if that happened. Now, they were already complaining that but the PS4 sold so much less than the PS3. Oh, clearly Japan is dying. We should just focus entirely on the West. Now they're going to get nothing. I mean, I actually would not have faulted Sony if they decided to focus on the West, but they left Japan alone. If they just left the fucking anime titty games alone and didn't censor them for no fucking reason, no one would have really cared that they're focusing more on Western exclusives and Western markets. As long as we still get the shit we want, we don't really care. But instead, they basically went to Japan and stuck a knife in its back and said, fuck you, we don't need you anymore. They lost millions of potential customers for literally no fucking reason. If all they did was just leave people alone, they would not have anywhere near the bad PR, the bad reputation they do now. They tanked their own company. So let's actually take a look at this chart. Yeah, you could clearly see fucking Nintendo is dominating everything here. The Wii up there at almost 250 million, I believe. The DS a little bit behind the Wii. And then what's that blue one right there? I think that's the Switch. The Switch is up there, straight up to the top. And dude, the Switch contains like the most Japanese games you can fucking think of. Is there even anything that could be considered a like AAA Western exclusive on the Switch? I don't fucking think so. There's like nothing on the Switch. But okay. The Switch can somehow do just fine focusing on like Japanese games. And it's breaking into all these like fucking top numbers. But PlayStation? Oh, we have to go full West if we want to compete. Damn, last I checked, the Switch actually outsold the PS5 and the Xbox Series X like 4-1. A console that is less powerful than the previous generation of consoles is still vastly outselling the current gen. What does that say about PlayStation and Xbox as well, I guess? Either way, the Switch is the red line here. It was actually the 3DS that was the blue. So, yeah, look at this chart again. Look at the screen. Look at this fucking chart. The top 4 on this chart are Nintendo. The top 4. And then the PSP, number 5. And then I believe the one below that is the GameCube. Wow, so 5 of the top 6, Nintendo. Like the most Japanese company there that releases the most Japanese products, the most Japanese exclusives, outselling all this shit. And then at the bottom of the barrel, we get to PlayStation. Now we get the PS3, the Vita, the PS4. You got the PS5 right there struggling. Now, if the PS5's line looks anything like the PS4's line, yeah, the projections are fucking right. This thing is going to end up selling considerably less than the PS4 did. And Sony, you've earned it. I legit hope that whole company goes bankrupt because the sooner they stop ruining this entire industry, the better off we'll all be. But my personal bias aside, let's get back to the article. While sales numbers can be allocated to limited launch inventory, yeah, that's the excuse they've all been saying. Like, oh, well, they're all selling out, so clearly the low sales are only based on low inventory. And for what it's worth, that's not really a bad argument per se. But look at how little demand there is for it in Japan. Like here in the US, everyone's crying about the scalpers, and there's a little bit of that in Japan, but not nearly as much. Like Japan is pretty much PC and Switch now, which is real annoying, to be honest with you. It's exceptionally annoying because have you guys noticed how some Japanese games are released? Like they have a Switch and a PlayStation version, let's say, in Japan, and then in the US on launch day, they're on Switch, PlayStation, and PC. So we get PC versions of games in the West that Japan never gets. Like they only have the console version of that game in Japan. So the Japanese industry is needlessly handicapping itself by limiting itself to consoles. And God, look at Senran Kagura. How much better would Senran Kagura have been if instead of going PlayStation exclusive, and now the franchise is dead because of it, if they had gone PC exclusive instead and just gone all out? Oh, let's just implement full nudity in the game. Let's keep the game pretty much the same as it is, but get rid of those god rays. Let's actually show the titties. They would have made bank on that shit, man. But nope, they ran back to Sony because that's how these boomers have always done it. We've always been a PlayStation company. And how did that work out for them? But inventory aside, with an expected surge once Sony gets manufacturing and supply worked out, it's going to be a tiny bump. There are still a number of factors over the last decade that Yasuda is taking into account in his analysis of the brand's decline in Japan. He specifically outlined the following. The piss poor launched in current year -8, but Japan's release came afterward. Yeah, that was a funny one. You want to know why even the PS4 seems to have maybe flopped in Japan while the Switch, like all of Nintendo's consoles, are still doing gangbusters? Maybe it's because even with the PS4, Japan started noticing that they're no longer being treated right. After fall of current year -3, Sony implemented its own regulations on depictions in games, which has censored content aimed at Japanese users. Yeah, they're actually starting to notice this, which is great. The Piss Nickel reveal video had no Japanese narration. Yep, that's what I was talking about earlier. No Japanese audio even on a big fucking reveal. While there were issues with the font used for the subtitles as well as their Japanese translations. The confirm button was changed from O to X in order to set a global standard. Now, easy solution would be just do it PC style and let people remap at their leisure. But forcing Japanese developers that, you have to use the X button to confirm instead of O. That is the most petty, nitpicky fucking bullshit around. Now, in a way, this is even worse than the censorship, really, when they are getting this fucking nitpicky about things. Due to manufacturing issues, the initial launch allocation for the Piss Nickel in Japan was barely above that of the PS3, preventing the system from reaching early adopters. And most of them are going to realize they don't actually care. Like, dude, there's like no games worth of shit on the PS5. Who the fuck buys these consoles at launch? Not to mention all the problems the first wave always has. Yasuda also contributed to a Bloomberg report last year that talked about Japan being sidelined by PlayStation, not only in focusing promotional marketing on the U.S. territory, but also in cuts happening to the Japanese development teams the publisher has under its umbrella. Notable departures from Sony's Japanese arms have been occurring with more frequency lately. In response to the Bloomberg report, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan claimed the allegations were false. Of course they're going to say that, but fuck what they say. Ignore what they say. Look at what they do. And that Japan remains important to the PlayStation brand as its home territory. Important as a competitor to censor. Yes, we already went over that. But Yasuda says the actions of the company in the region don't match their words. Yeah, based Japan, they're looking at what's important. I don't give a fuck what you say. You're a known liar. I'm going to look at what you do. That's all that matters. It's all what you do. Sony relocated its headquarters from Japan to the U.S. back in current year -5. Actually, it's not Sony. It was just PlayStation. I think the Sony corporate headquarters is still in Tokyo. But specifically, PlayStation is now an American brand. PlayStation is ran out of America. A major move that caused Japanese gamers to become rather cold towards the publisher, saying that it was losing its core Japanese principles. Yeah, meanwhile, Nintendo doing just fucking fine. Despite Sony touting the Piss Nickel as the biggest PlayStation launch in history, Yasuda thinks the company will come to regret ignoring the Japanese market. Yeah, I look forward to them trying to get the weebs back, and then the weebs just ignoring them. That's gonna be the ultimate Schadenfreude right there. Now that we realized we need your money, we're gonna pretend to like you until we don't need you anymore. So can you come back? Nope. Fuck you. And here's actually, I think, the most important part of this article. Japanese users aren't likely to channel their dissatisfaction on social media, so the U.S. Sony Interactive Entertainment HQ staff might perceive that as the Japanese just politely accepting whatever is given to them, regardless of how cold they have become. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. They've simply begun to vanish into the sunset quietly. Thank you. This is the same thing I've been saying for years, not just with gaming, but with look at the relationship market. Here in the West, The legal system has just been piling on more and more risks and costs for men to get into a relationship while taking away their benefits one at a time. And they just assumed, oh, men are so pussy minded. They're so driven by pursuit of pussy that it doesn't matter how bad we make the deal. These thirsty motherfuckers they want to get their dick wet so bad that they're going to do anything to get a taste of that pussy. We don't need to worry about men leaving. They're ruled by their sex drive. We got them locked down. Only to find out that that is not the case. And because previously they were saying that shit, and now they're like, why are their marriage rates down? Why are the birth rates down? Why are all these men single? Where have all the good men gone? You chased them the fuck away. That's what happened. And the same thing is going to happen now with PlayStation. Because yes, here in the West, we're a bunch of whiny little bitches. So when we get triggered by something, we go to social media and let everyone know. But in Japan, they're just like, whatever. I'm done. I'm just not going to play this anymore. Now, the reason that I personally try to speak up a little bit is because I want to give the developer a chance to change course. If someone just fucks up, you can't expect them to know they fucked up unless you tell them they did, right? Otherwise, they're going to be left with a game that didn't sell, and they're never going to know why, and they're going to get the wrong idea. So I try to tell them, like, guys, you made a big mistake with this. Don't do this again. And then if their next few products, they just double down on that shit and then also insult me on top of it, that's when I'm done. That's where a company becomes irredeemable, in my opinion. Sony is one of them. They're irredeemable. They didn't just make one mistake, get it pointed out, and then go, oh, my bad, I need a course correct on this. That's not what happened. You want to know a company where that happened? Look at Vespa. No, not the freaking scooters. Like they're the Korean company that makes King's Raid. They gave in to the outrage mob and they censored their game. And then a few days later, they decensored their game because their customers revolted and let them know, you done fucked up and you better make this right. So they did. Pretty much instantly, like within days, they backtracked. That's a company that deserves a second chance. They made a mistake. I mean, everyone makes mistakes, right? You can't be mad at them for making one mistake. The mistake was pointed out to them, and then they corrected that mistake promptly. That's not what Sony did. They made a mistake. They had that mistake pointed out to them, and they're like, oh, we're going to just keep doubling down on this just to piss you off. Yeah, this company is never going to have redemption in my eyes. Fuck them. Whether Sony takes notice of this quiet decline amidst the worldwide success of the Piss Nickel remains to be seen. Even if they do, there's nothing they can do to make this right anymore. I mean, maybe if they fired literally every single executive at the company and they disbanded their entire Western branch, maybe? But something tells me they're not going to do that. But much of Sony's strength has been its attention to a diverse range of content appealing to all regions. Yeah, that's now with Nintendo. Yeah, there's literally no reason to get a PlayStation right now. The only console that has value is Nintendo. Early Piss Nickel trends have shown that the PlayStation brand in Japan is in decisive decline, and Ace Economic Research Institute cannot help but be disappointed, Yasuda said. We think Sony will come to regret this. Yeah, once they're going bankrupt and they try to go back to the weebs they backstabbed and the weebs just continue turning their backs on them, it's like, nope, sorry. Why the fuck would we give you a second chance when Nintendo is giving us everything we want? Why? Why would we do that? Same logic I use, by the way, too, when talking about people from the legacy industry and how they're going to try to worm their way into the new one as soon as we establish it. Even if I were okay with giving these cretins a second chance, why would I give a job, for example, to someone who's already stabbed me in the back when there's countless other more talented people out there who haven't stabbed me in the back yet? Another example as well, it would be like, say you got a girlfriend and everything's going just fine. You guys, you think everything's going perfect. You're both happy. And then one day she just dumps you out of nowhere. Just, yep, sorry, I met this other guy. I think he's way better than you. I'm going to go with him now. Bye. It's not you. I mean, nothing wrong with you. I just don't need you anymore. Bye. And then 2 weeks later, she's at your door sobbing. Oh, he just pump and dumped me. He was just using me. Can I come back? Can you take me back? Of course, the answer is going to be a hard no. Especially, imagine if during the 2 weeks she was out getting pump and dumped, you found a new girlfriend who actually was there for you at your lowest when you needed her the most. You'd have to be a real piece of shit to dump her, like stab her in the back to get back with a known backstabber. So hell no. And that's going to be the case here. All these companies and consumers are going to go to Nintendo. They're going to go to PC. And then when PlayStation comes crawling back, they'll be like, what the fuck do I need you for? I have a gaming PC and a Switch. Get the fuck out of my face. And I'm really looking forward to the schadenfreude I'm going to feel when that happens too. I'm watching this closely because consoles they're on the way out. Consoles don't have much time left unless it's like the Switch, again, unless they have some gimmick to them like that actually gives them value. And Microsoft knows this. Sony seems to be the only company that doesn't see the way the future is going. Microsoft is going to dominate this next generation. Not in console sales. I still think the PS5 is going to outsell the Xbox Series X. Where Microsoft is going to dominate is Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft sees that with consoles as we know them, again, with the exception of gimmicks, because the Switch is mobile, so that's different. But regular consoles are worthless now. They're on the way out. They're going to be replaced with services like Xbox Game Pass, to the point that Microsoft is bundling Xbox Game Pass with their Xboxes to sell them. They care less about selling the hardware than selling the platform. And everybody knows, it's no secret, that at least for the first couple of years of a console's life, it's pretty much sold at a loss. The companies make back the money on the software sales. If Microsoft sold no consoles, but they had 100 million people on Xbox Game Pass on all the other platforms, I'm quite sure they would be happy with that. Their long-term plan is going to be to phase out physical consoles. They're still offering them now because, talking with some other people, consoles still have some use as a home entertainment system. Apparently, a lot of people aren't willing to put the effort into setting their PC up that way, so they just have the console. Or maybe it could be more cost effective, depending on your financial situation, to just get an Xbox instead of a PC. So Microsoft is leaving the Xboxes around for that reason. But every Xbox game is also on PC, you know. If it's on Xbox Game Pass, you could get it on PC. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Xbox, like Project xCloud app show up on the Switch. And xCloud is basically the good version of Stadia, by the way. Yeah, once they get that working, once you can play your entire fucking library, you can stream it to any device. Once you could play even Xbox games on the Switch, I mean, at that point, yeah, Microsoft's got this in the bag. Again, even if the PS5 sells way more copies or way more units than the Xbox Series X, Microsoft wins in the long run. Sony is only looking at this generation. Microsoft is looking 2 or 3 generations down the line. Microsoft is positioning themselves for the future battlefield, while Sony is fighting for the scraps of the current one. This dinosaur is going to be forgotten soon enough. And oh my God, I am going to do an entire stream just laughing and dancing on their grave when it happens. Because after putting the nail in the coffin of many of my favorite franchises like Senran Kagura, they fucking deserve it. you bet your ass I'm going to be celebrating their downfall. And that's it for that. Yeah, that's it for the Sony shit. Yes, hopefully they will come to regret it.
Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.